Hello, hello. If you can hear me, please put a one in the chat. If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. Welcome, welcome to the people in the room. Again, oh great, awesome. Welcome, Kitty. Um, hello, Lela. Layla. Is that Lily or Layla? Welcome, welcome. There are six people in the room. If you can hear me, just press one. Kitty says she can hear me. I just want to make sure that you can hear me before I begin. Um, this is a discussion. If you know anything about my channel, you know that I try to dissect what is happening as opposed to creating and stirring up gossip. My goal is to take what we are learning from what we are observing and apply it to our realities, the situations that we experience um, in our own homes or just in the world we live in. Hello, Princess. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm super glad you're doing well. Is if this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, so you all know I'm Real Talk TV. And I want to today talk about why carbonation more than likely will not fall anytime soon. Um, and it has nothing necessarily to do with what we think it has to do with. It's a culmination of things that is it happens to every cult, and that's is just the way it is. So we're gonna break it down. Yes, in my discussions, people will be able to come up and give their opinions, their perspectives, and have a serious conversation about how they feel about the things that are going on. So first, I want to make sure that you guys know to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It allows me to grow as a channel holder, and share this video in this live if you enjoy the content. All right, so um, I have 5 points that I'm going to talk about. And the first one is members often is members often say they are acting in their own free will, or they're behaving from their own free will. And so we look at, and I got these 5 reasons from what I observed, and also doing a little bit of research. So how about I just put the link in now? So when you're ready, if you have something that's really on your mind and you want to come up, you want to share it, you can do so. All right, so there's the link. Um, the number one, or the one of the reasons that carbonation is not going to fall anytime soon, is because the members, like in every cult, because we have to remember that despite all the excitement, the drama, there's something new every day, right? And so you kind of get clouded with the drama as opposed to what is really happening. And that is that no one is taking it seriously because of these things, these factors, these 5 factors. And that one of the 5 factors is that the cult members themselves truly believe that they're acting in their own will. The things that they do, the choices that he makes for them, they believe those are their choices, their actions. With when Malia ended up in the hospital, she still blames herself, right? Tanisha, she still blames herself. She says that it's her fault for not expressing herself verbally. It's her fault for joining, and it was her decision to go. When we all know from watching the videos how he manipulates them into believing that, number one, in order to, be in the most pure state, they have to be with him. That's what he tells them. If you are in your most pure state, you're going to come to me. And so a person who thinks that way or believes that, they don't realize that they're being manipulated. So they think, oh my goodness, I'm choosing to head over there and be in my higher self. When really that decision wasn't yours. Um and so it's not their own free will. It's just not. And I would love to hear, I got 11 people in the room. Um I hopefully we can just keep it small this time because I really want to hear what people have to say. I wholeheartedly um, feel like there's just too many people interested in the gossip aspect, and I don't want to be involved in that anymore or at all. Um, and I'm just focused right now, you guys, and I really want to hear perspectives on how we can apply this to our lives, how we can apply this to our experiences. Okay, so if you can, like, please participation. I would love to see some participation so that I know that I'm not my message is not falling on deaf ears. If you can, in the chat, um write in a time or something, your perspective on whether or not you believe they are acting at their own free will. Was there a time when you thought you were acting at your own free will? How did you realize that you weren't? Or did you ever realize that you weren't? Did somebody coerce you or convince you to do something that you thought, oh man, I'm making this choice on my own? And then you realize you're not making that choice on your own. Somebody's making that choice for you. I can give you an example for myself. Um, I can give you an example for myself. When I was, I was a young person, 14 years old at the time, and I was pressured by so-called friends to lose my virginity. And I thought I was making my own choice. They tell me I'm grown. They tell me I need to step it up. These older girls, they say they are my friends. And if I really want to, become an adult, then this is what I need to do. And so I thought I was making my own choice until the act occurred. And I realized this wasn't my choice. We have to understand that what we are watching is a reflection of the real world and around us, our community. Yes, young minds are extremely gullible, absolutely. And people, I'm going to get to that too. The one of the other reasons why carbonation is not going to fall, but this is specifically one of them. Yes, very very vulnerable to believing things, manipulation, coercion. Okay, so the second one for me is the outside views. Um, people find this entertaining. People find, thank you, first of all, Layla, for responding. I appreciate that. But people find this entertaining, amusing, and this is far from entertaining or amusing. People are there, like the video I just played for you in the beginning. If you didn't see it, you can check it out on the replay. But people are forgetting that these are children, somebody's child. You get what I'm saying? Dalen, who they call Musa, or what is his name now? What do they call Dalen now? uh I can't remember, but I know his name used to be Musa. Um, but his mother was speaking to Velvet's father, Mr. Marquez, and she created this amazing video as a message to him, telling him to come home, how much she loves him. But we see them on, you know, different channel holders, platforms. We see them being displayed on when Nature Boy goes live, and we see them as characters, and they're not characters; they're people. But again, that is part of the manipulation. That is part of how cults move. If I can dehumanize you, if I can break you down, if I can make people feel no, less empathy for you, and see this as a show, a game, then they won't act when it's time to act. I created a challenge, quote unquote, for my subscribers. And I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed to have the amount of subscribers that I have now. But Nubian, thank you. Thank you, Gullah. Um, I created a challenge, and all I was asking for people to do was to report. I wasn't, asking for anything else, just report. I gave um, the information that I found on Instagram by somebody called Carbonation is Falling. Thank you, Princess. Carbonation is Falling. And um, it was simply just to say, this is what's happening. Can somebody do something about it? And go on a review where he is staying, because that was exposed. His address was exposed, and to post on there your feelings about them being in this location so that they can get kicked out, because that's a step. If they have nowhere to go, then he can't recruit because he can't send them anywhere. And I literally know I was offering $10. Me, my little, broke nine. I'm not yet making any money off of YouTube, and I offered $10 for the person who can do it, though, to just complete those two steps, and nobody participated. No one. And so I'm not saying that people aren't doing what they can, but the fact that $10 is not a lot, but it wasn't even enough to get people motivated to report, to just go on their computer or their phone and report. Layla said, I watched Nature Boy in amazement, thinking, OMG, I probably would have fallen for the same thing when I was younger because I was a young, broken, and lost young girl. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to also remember these are people who are trying to get out. They're trying to free their spirit when they find this man. They're trying to free their spirit. Well, the ones before. They're trying to heal. They're trying to develop the skills to be better. It's not a game. It's not a show. Woman of great abundance. I love that name. Okay. Um, I think they will fall very soon. They have supposedly committed fraud, lying to the government, or creating businesses they never produce. Um, so I'm going to get to that part, the finances as well, um, and why it takes a long time for that part, and that's the FBI portion of this live today. So I hope you can stay and listen to that part. But for me, it's the viewers, us watching. What are we doing other than watching? That's what takes you from being a viewer to an activist, a viewer to somebody who really wants change. What are you doing? You can put in the chat if you have done anything to um, stop him from recruiting, if you've talked to somebody that wanted to go, if you sent a message out, anything, you can put it in the chat. Be proud of yourself, because people aren't doing it. The third reason why carbonation is not going to fall for me is the ex members. Most of what the problem is here, because I look at cults like Nexium, I look at cults like what was Jim Jones's cult? Forgot the name of it, but the cult that Jim Jones had in Jonestown. I look at Yahweh Ben Yahweh's cult and um, the Black Hebrew Israelites cult. Some people don't call it a cult, but it is. Um, and one thing I've noticed is that the cults that get taken down are the ones where people, members or ex-members, went against the cult and reported it, not on social media, with their friends to get views and likes and attention. They went to the news media, or they went to the police department, or they went to people who, a reporter, somebody who had the authority, the power to reach the masses, somebody who could direct them to someone who can find a way to charge them. And these members for at Carbon Nation, these ex-members for Carbon Nation aren't doing it. Now I have my theories. He on Bigo dancing with the dumb. Exactly. He's on Bigo, and guess what? What people are doing, Janet, or Jeanette. Guess what people are doing? They're watching them. They're amused. They go on there and they say little mean things in the comments and get blocked, or they go if somebody's recording what's going on, they're going in the channel holders comments and making little comments and laughing and calling everybody names and everything. But but after that, then what do? We go on and we find something else to entertain us. There are too many people condoning his behavior, and the people who try to take him down end up fighting against each other. Yes, I'm gonna put that up. Yes, and that includes the ex-members. We see them now going against each other. Everybody fighting for more notoriety. Velvet, she came at a few of the ex-members. We have Nateri coming at a few of the ex-members. We have um uh Syrian, I think they call it Syrian, coming at people who were want to report them from the past. Candy was, it's just so many different people constantly fighting one another, and then you had Shaka, whatever his real name is, going against other members, and it's just this tit for tat with the members, with the channel holders, with people who claim to be advocates against this sort of behavior. And so where are we now? We're just watching, and I'm so unconfused at why that is enough. Why are we satisfied with just watching? Someone asked, I'm sorry, Woman of Great Abundance asked me, why do you think he's being allowed to do this extreme on the internet? I've never seen this type of behavior allowed online without immediate consequences. That is, I want to say, a loaded question. Um, because we all have our theories. My understanding or my theory is that because people have called the police from what they saw. Um, at one point, Instagram was shutting his page down or suspending it every now and again. Um, who else? It was Facebook shut him down for a while. And so again, it's a lack of consistency with the people who are reporting, a lack of evidence. Because what he does is he says it's all for show. He says it's for entertainment. It's not real. And if the people who are reporting him can't prove otherwise, then there's really nothing they can do because we haven't really seen anything. I mean, we've heard some of the things that he said, um, and I agree with you. Like for instance, Twitter, they'll block people for something that's very small. My YouTube channel, they tried to flag one of my videos for showing half of a buttocks, but he can sodomize one of his members and not get in trouble. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would have to say it's because the lack of evidence that they have to prove otherwise from what he says, and that is entertainment. Um, so I hope that answers your question, woman of great abundance. Um, so for me, the ex-members, they're afraid. They get paid off. Oh my goodness, you guys don't understand how often people get paid off. If you remember what Shaka said, he said that whoever they is, he never even said who they was. And nobody questioned that who watched that Bigo live thing. Nobody said, "What do you mean they? Who is they?" He said they offered him 10,000 to bring world news onto Bigo. They offered 10,000 to bring Velvet on the Bigo. Both of those individuals are now on Bigo. So I'm curious to know who they is. But the person I know who, uses money to bribe ex-members to be quiet is Natureboy. And who enjoys the drama. The drama brings him attention. Attention brings him views and money and members. Yeah, I remember that. Yes, Janet or Jeanette, they had remember when they were going naked on Instagram, jumping up and down on the trampoline in the rain. I think that's what you're talking about. I remember that. There was another instance where they were showing Aya allowing the child to you know I don't know, use her body as a pacifier. They showed that, and somehow they still on it. But it's money. I'm telling you, the root of this is pure evil, and it's money. It's money. He generates a lot of revenue for platforms. Nature Boy is using his Bigo money to pay people off. Yes. And before Bigo money, Layla, before there was Bigo money, he was using the money from the members when they came. And he was generating a lot of that money. He was generating money from people who believed that he was actually doing something and actually building something. And he had a lot of supporters. So those people were also funding, this attempt at coercing people, and that's one of my points. But for right now, the members he holds, and like every cult. Oh, I have it here. I'm gonna show you guys. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Um, like most cults, part of the reason people don't speak out. Okay, here we go. Part of the reason most ex-members don't speak out is because he has something against them. He'll either tell them to confess to heinous crimes like he did True, um, or he'll video record them in very compromising positions. He'll um, ha- have some form of currency that is very shameful against them, and that's why a lot of them don't speak. Or he'll love bomb them when they leave. He'll talk trash about them and then be like, "I'm only doing it. This is a test. I still love you. You can always come back. And that's how he's able to manipulate them to say, you know what? He's just a good guy. He just needs to get better. And so I'm not going to throw him under the bus. Layla says, I remember, okay, you remember that when they was jumping up and down. Um, the only way he will go down is if the authorities go looking for Zoka baby, or if they investigate any and charge him with the SBA loans. Absolutely. But the problem with that, again, is nobody will hold him accountable for those loans. Like if they come to Malia right now and say, you know, we found out that you committed fraud because it's in her name. We found out you committed fraud. You took $30,000, claiming that you know you had a business. We found out that you don't have a business, and you need to pay him back, and you haven't. Her credit is messed up. You know that's something different. Credit is messed up. Boom, whatever. And they say, well, where's your business? I don't have one. Well, you know possibly a felony charge or something or whatever. She's going to say, you know what, that was my fault because that's what he teaches them. And so she won't report him. And that in lies the problem. They will not report him because he has conditioned them so much to believe that anything that happens bad that he causes, anything that happens bad is their own fault. And so, let me see if I can share it. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Brainwashed, absolutely, glasses. Okay, so if you guys can see this, I hope you can. It says, bringing leaders to justice. The authorities were alerted to Nexium. I got this article, you know, they were talking about Nexium as an example, as I talk about carbonation as an example. But it references how many, if not all, cults move. A key problem in prosecuting the leaders of cults is members often say they are acting under their own free will, which we talked about. Even if current or former members want to press charges, many feel afraid because of possible repercussions or stigmas attached to them being a member. Uh, let's see. Where was it? And it says specifically. Oops, I don't know why I just did. It says specifically. I'll find it in a few minutes. Um, about the fact that they might have videos and stuff like that, to as he uses as pretty much collateral. um what else? They feel sorry for them. um oh, and specifically in Velvet's case, they might be implicated. You notice Velvet when she goes on and on about you know carbonation and how she could have got him in jail a long time ago. She doesn't explain to us why. She doesn't explain to us in what way, what evidence she has, what happened. um the girl Stephanie, who they call Seven, same thing there. She just they just disappeared, don't want to be bothered, and that's it. Mostly because they have been implicated in something that could get them prison time just as much as him. And that is a tactic that is done. That is purposely done. So that, like Nature Boy said to, like Eligio said to Velvet, if I go down, you go down. And that is a fact. He does things, or he makes them do things. Like, I truly believe Portia, aka Aya, is definitely going to be one of those individuals. If if you're having intercourse with a child in your arms multiple times, you are doing something that is inappropriate and considered a sexual offense against a minor. And all it takes is for somebody to actually go to the authorities, which they won't do. Um, the fourth reason why carbonation for me won't go down. If Nature Boy name isn't on the loan, he won't be charged. Exactly, Kitty. Exactly. You're 100% correct. And if the people don't come out and say, the ex members don't come out and say, well, I was coerced, I was brainwashed, I wasn't in my right state of mind, I was forced to sign these documents, like they did in Nexium. The reason why the leader in Nexium, the cult leader, was taken down, even though it took decades, you have to understand it takes decades for them to build this evidence. And the reason why he was taken down is because ex members finally came forward and said, I was manipulated, I was coerced, I was brainwashed into doing these things. These weren't my thoughts. I wouldn't have made these decisions on my own. I wouldn't have made these decisions in my right state of mind. Um, so we have the laws. We have laws. I put laws against manipulation. There just aren't enough laws to protect people from individuals like Nature Boy. There's just no laws to protect us. Manipulation in certain countries, um, for coercion, of coercion into doing things, are actually, a little more enforced. But here in the United States, in Mexico where they went, those things don't apply. They're people, still not being really taken seriously, and that's why cult leaders get away with what they get away with. That's why, you ever been in a relationship with somebody and you find out they're married, or you find out they're in a relationship with someone else, and there's nothing you can do about it except be upset and move on, when that should be a charge. In one or two countries all over the world, you can be charged for that, but here in the United States, unfortunately, it's not a chargeable offense. And until we start taking those types of actions is serious, the way we take, robbery and it's weird. Is there are other things that are a little less egregious that people get charged for. Um, but manipulating someone is not a chargeable offense. I find that odd. He can be charged under RICO, okay, head head end of a criminal enterprise. Yes, he can, but that takes a long time, not now. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Um, the SBA fraud was done as extortion, if they can prove it. Wire transfers using Cash App for fraudulent reasons and crime, but not now. What does he do with the money? Where does it go? Whose accounts does it go in? That's why they're able to steal it. Remember when Shaka was saying how they steal some money? You wanna know why Nature Boy don't care? Cause if it all goes down, it's still not in his name. So the people who are committing the fraud and doing all of this, they're too loyal to him. They're too loyal. And he always compares, whenever somebody leaves or whenever somebody speaks up and feel, like this ain't right. He always compares them to the biblical Judas. And so, if you truly believe in what he is teaching you, and they do, you don't want to be a Judas. You don't want to be a backstabber. You don't want to, go against or sell out the Messiah. That's what he teaches them. And that's why they'll take the blame. And they'll be charged with the SBA fraud. They'll be charged with the extortion. Because the way the law works, is you have to be able to prove it. You have to be able to prove it. Um, so yeah, the resources, Nexium. I like to talk about Nexium and for this one because Nexium is a perfect example. It was literally identical. If you look up Nexium's cult, practically identical to Nature Boys. Um, and what he says and what is actually true is two different things. Not now. He says he's the CEO, but his name ain't on nothing. His name ain't on anything. Members have already came out and said his name isn't on a single thing, and his name ain't on a single thing. Mm. But laws against the laws against manipulation we talked about, connections and resources. Remember the guy Ryan, Italian Ryan, who said he had resources. I haven't seen the resources, but for most people who say that they want to help, myself included, I don't have any connections to people who can stop this. Most people who get involved don't really have any connections to stop this. They don't have the resources to go after him. And that's also what's stopping. Ryan has quit like 3 times. I listen, this is why I do not certain things I do not talk about. Glasses, certain things I do not talk about, and that is why. People ask me in my last live, what do I think about um, that whole situation with Italian Ryan, and I said, no, that's another day, another time, another live that I'm just not going to do because the situation changes so frequently because people's intentions change depending on what they're offered, depending on their motives. People's motives change. So I stay away from that. Um, Not now. I wish that was possible to him to be arrested and we just lock him up like they do to people in the hood. The young guy in the hood, they lock him up and then they find keep him in there for 2 and 3 years until they can find something, right? Why that is not happening is, you know, both of our guests. Uh oh, Scientology is a good example of how celebrity. Hey, Lady Leo, how are you? It's okay. I started a little early. It was supposed to start at 7:30. But I started a little early, so you are fine. You can always jump in the conversation. The link is somewhere in here in the chat if you want me to drop it again. Um, it's exactly what the title is about. And I'm just giving my reasons why I don't think carbonation is going to fall anytime soon, unless magically a certain individual has goes into cardiac arrest from the unhealthy eating habits that he has. If he was doing this so white women would have been taken down by now. Glasses, he did this to white women, to a white woman. He was exploiting a white woman. What was her name? Sunray or something like that. And he still wasn't taken down. They just said, "Give us our daughter, or there will be consequences." He gave them their daughter back, and they let him continue doing whatever craziness he was doing. So again, it's about resources. Yep, she was from Canada. Layla, it's all about resources, and that was, yep, when it was the BBC stuff. Yep, yes they did. Yes they did. BBC was not playing. They was here for those Canadians. Um, they allowed themselves to be a resource for those Canadians, for that young girl. Um, and the issue is I think, again, connections. They knew somebody. They had to have known someone somewhere who could make that happen, because there are many cults. Carbonation is not the only cult out here. Somebody said, again, yes, investigation of Zoka's baby, yes, will be something they can get him with. That, I think that would probably, if it happens, that will be the thing that gets them. If they cannot show proof that that baby was in the hospital, and they can't find, and they don't provide proof of what happened to that baby, I think that will help us. But again, it's up to Zoka to have that situation. Yep, they had money and resources, Layla, and that's why they was able to get the BBC on board. They were able to get news broadcasts from United States and Canada on board. Okay. Um, they had money and resources. That's true. Let's see. And my last one was, my last reason, or my fifth reason, is the normalization of the behavior. And that comes from Nature Boy himself. He normalizes everything he does, everything he says. Um, Redbone, how are you? How are you, Redbone? Got his TV. I have no mods. I don't even know how to create mods. I have no mods. Thankfully, I have no real issues here. It's too boring for the people who like gossip, so I don't have to worry about that. I think they even threatened to go get their daughter. They did. They said that they were going to go get her, Layla. And what happened is, they were corresponding with Eligio on how she was going to get home, and so they were, they didn't even need to leave Canada to get her. They didn't even need to leave to make sure that she got home safely. And when they said, "Look, we want our child," he claimed, "Oh, she's here at her own will. We don't care. We want our child." And they had proof, medical records to prove that this girl was not right mentally, that she could not make that decision on her own. And I went, "Oh my goodness, that is a good point. That is a good point." The people who are at carbonation have never been evaluated by their loved ones. And so there is no proof that they can't make those decisions on their own. And that's our fault as a community, because we tell each other not to go to these therapists, not to be evaluated. It's the man trying to stop us from, you know, thriving. And so now there's no proof that the people who do need help, who do need somebody to make decisions for them, um, are are needed. We give Nature Boy a lot of credit. He has other people around him giving him legal help. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. For instance, I have heard him mention Lisa multiple times, and he values her opinion and advice. Yes, Kitty, he does have people who in different fields um, who support him, and so they do give him legal advice. That man is, he's, I don't know how he, if he has a high school diploma. I don't know how. I don't know how, because he is not smart. Not screaming, telling them, "I'm smarter than you." I'm this, I'm that. That man whew, he's not bright at all. He just literally going with the flow. As he goes, he just, you know finds people he can utilize for different things. finances, legal advice, but he's not bright at all. I believe the reason the ex-members do not report him is because they have witnessed crimes and are guilty by association. Yes, that was come as you are. That was one of my points. I have 5 points of why Nature Boy won't go down, and that is absolutely one of those reasons. Yes. And remember, yes, Kaja or Khadijah, whatever her real name was, she was helping him legally and financially too. Yep. He was in Mexico prison, right? That was when Khadijah got him out of there. Or Kaja. Um he was in Mexico prison. This white woman went all the way to Mexico to get this man out. All the way to Mexico to get this man out. And then he turned on her. You understand what I'm saying, people? For some reason he's able to um convince people long enough to get what he wants, that that he is a good person. And then once he gets what he has, he shows them his true colors. And I don't know what kind of people these people are. You know, she had a whole husband. She had a whole husband, got a divorce, took that money and gave it to somebody who eventually stabbed her in the back. For an example, Velvet and other women played a part with Malia's medical condition by beating on her. Yes, she was everyone's punching bag. She was everyone's punching bag, come as you are. They are guilty of something, absolutely. I believe he has forced those people to commit the crimes and have them on video doing so. More than likely, there's some kind of paper trail for them to be held accountable, but not himself. Another example, he had the members apply for the loans, yep, and he did not apply for the loan himself. And that's one of the points I was making is he set it up good. And he didn't get that from himself. He's not that smart. More than likely he looked up how other successful cult leaders were able to not get more time than they did or get away with certain things. Um, so yeah, I was talking about how he normalizes the behavior that he shows on live. Like we are so desensitized to the things he does that it's almost like we are blaming the victims now. Like I've heard people say, for me, with the exception of Velvet, I think most of them are victims. And Velvet and Portia, I think most of them are truly victims. Um, we blame them for allowing him to do the things that he does, but people don't understand the power of manipulation. And he works it so much. He puts them on live and humiliates them over and over and over. And so we stop focusing on him, right? We say, okay, that's him. He is who he is. You're dumb for falling for it. Without understanding how the psychology of brainwashing works. We have to look at our ancestors, the ones who were enslaved in this country. It was so bad. They eventually, the brainwashing was so bad, and the fear that was created was so bad that they didn't even need chains after the second generation of slavery. The second generation of slaves did not need chains, and thereafter, and they were still in bondage. I want you guys to process that. Thank you, not now. I'm going to put that up. We must never forget that they are victims. And that's why if you go replay, if you haven't already seen my video, I put it on the live in the beginning, the intro. If you didn't get a chance to see it, please go to my videos and watch some of them. We have to remember that these are victims. They are victims. And yes, Velvet, even though she's a narcissist herself, narcissists can be victims as well. She was victimized by another narcissist. Hello, Michelle. Purdy. Hello, everybody. Don't forget about the fact that he got all of them to get money for unemployment, big money too. He is getting money from each one of them. He has brainwashed them also. What I want to know is the money that's coming from Bigo, whose account is it in? Because I guarantee you it's not his. I guarantee you. And are they going to file it? More than likely they will. We don't know. Or maybe they won't. And that's a way to set that person up. And people have to understand that the buffoonery, the foolishness is all smoke and mirrors. It's to get us to normalize his behavior. It's to get us to start blaming the victims for allowing. Like Kanye tried to blame, our ancestors. Like many people tried to blame the Native Americans for allowing the Europeans onto this land. It's a tactic that they use. Victim blaming. It's a tactic that they use. And in a way that he's manipulating us. Come as you are said, I do not like how the law protects people that commit crimes and is able to get away by saying it's their religion. Right. I hope that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. So many egregious things have happened in the name of some sick person's idea of religion. And how they are able to get away with it, you know, these laws are very tricky. These laws are very tricky and they protect a lot of bad people because somebody finds a way to get through the cracks. Fraud is a big one. Fraud is a big one. And manipulation is another one. Abuse of children, abuse of women is another one. So yeah. Um, Let me see what else I have here. Okay. So I don't know. Do not like. Okay, let's saw that. So again, I'm gonna drop the link in. That was my little spiel. My 5 reasons why carbonation more than likely will not go down, you guys. It won't. It not anytime soon. Let me say that, unless something medically occurs. I'm speaking this into the universe. Unless something medically occurs that shortens this little trip here. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. You are more than welcome to come up to share your thoughts. To share your thoughts. Um, but at some point, you guys, we have to do more. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this live if you can. Um, and I just really hope you guys are having a good time. Thank you, Respect Karma. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. You don't know how much that means to me. As a growing channel holder, I appreciate you very much. I appreciate everyone in the chat. Thank you so much. The ones who are viewing this, and even if you're behind the scenes, all of you guys are helping me with you know get growing and getting bigger so that we can address real issues. Um, yeah. Does anybody have anything to say? If they want to come up at all, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. This was a nice quick one. This was a nice quick live. I usually don't like to be too long. Um, I do want to mention before if nobody comes up, um I'm gonna end it shortly. I wish Puerto Rico would kick him off the island the same way Hawaii did. Ugh, wouldn't that be so nice, Layla Mama? Wouldn't that be so nice? Oh my goodness. Um, then Hawaiians were not. No, they were not. No, but see, they have a strong community. They have a strong community. They're very, very protective of their land. Even the ones who might not be natives to that land, they claim it, and it becomes a part of them. Respect Karma said, I'm tired of cussing out my phone and that nasty boy, honey boy or boy honey. Yes. Who is tired of talking about Nature Boy? I'm so tired of talking about him. Oh my God. I'm so tired. I took a whole weekend off. I took a whole weekend off from watching or anything. Um, cause I'm exhausted. Nothing's happening, you guys. It's just drama, more and more drama. The girl Candy, getting paid $10,000. More than likely it's 10. Getting paid $10,000 to pretend she don't know him. And then you read the comments, and the people who haven't been following the situation, um, believe that she's believed her when she said she didn't know him. Anybody can see through that lie. He draining people energy. Yes, he's a succubus. He's draining our energy, you guys. He's draining it, and we're allowing him to. But no more. No more. If you can take this and use it as a tool and use it as a lesson. I wrote a book. Some of you have heard me say this in another live or in one of my videos. I have a book that I wrote um, to help women get out of these situations. If you're going to watch them for a purpose. Watch them for a purpose. Get what you can get out of it to learn, to grow, and to help others. And you're going to have to just move on eventually. I think I keep watching because even though it is going to take a while, he will go down, and I want to see that. Absolutely. That's why I started watching. Continue to watch, and that's why I started, doing my own little videos, Layla, because I want to. It's almost like you invested so much time. You want to be a witness to when it goes down. You know what I mean? Almost like a climax of a book or a movie. Oh yes, three kids. Welcome. So good to see.
Hello, hello, everybody.
How are
Um,
you?
I'm doing well. Just want to spread some awareness and some cult education because I think that that's really the beginning of that's where we need to start at. Recognizing the fact that these are victims, they are his victim, and when we lose sight of that, and we begin to see them as they're choosing to do whatever they're doing. No, they're not. First of all, everybody that went over there, every single person that went over there, when their feet hit the soil wherever he was, they didn't do that with the idea of I'm going to join a cult. They
Right,
didn't know it was a cult. And people have to remember that this is a cult. It's not anything upright and righteous. It's all ego driven for the benefit of one. And whenever you're viewing this stuff, you have to remember that. And anybody can get caught up in a cult, not just young people. You have people who are, well educated, old, experienced in life. and
Mhm.
because of maybe a vulnerability, and that's how a lot of people are seeking things. There's something that there's a question, and a lot of what you hear a lot of times you'll hear these young people say, "I was trying to find my place in the universe. I wanted
Yep.
to know why I was created." Right? Even for like older people like Mama Dia, her life
Right. When
was
you think of Mama Dia, aka well, her real name was Magdalena. You think of Sybil.
right.
They are
Um,
older women.
yes, but they were in a place of searching, and
Yep.
Sybil even said, she said, I have. She was on her journey for a long time, and she was still on her journey when she
Yep.
came across his wave, and when he talks about a wave and a frequency, that's very much real because you know we exist in electrical forces all around us and conduct throughout our bodies, our brains, our heart. All that stuff is on a frequency, right? So he uses his voice. What does a voice do? It takes in the sound and it vibrates off um your voice box. It vibrates, and then a tone goes out over a frequency. So he puts this out into the universe, into this frequency. And these young people, they're like, I just asked the universe, well, this realm that we live in, this plane that we exist on, is not a godly plane. So you're asking, this universe that we exist in, what's my purpose? Well, who are you looking to in that plane to find the reason for your existence? Because if you just ask the universe, a whole bunch of stuff can come float your way.
That's right. That's right. Because there are a lot of energies within the universe that aren't yours.
And mean you no good,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so that's what you have to keep that in mind. And then number two, another thing is the frontal lobe doesn't fully develop until you're 25. The frontal lobe, it helps you with reasoning and processing, right? So you have these immature minds asking this vast universe where in which good and evil exist, putting it out there and say, why am I here? And then that information comes to them, and in a negative way. And because their brains aren't fully developed, they can't process the information or see what's happening in front of them. So then, how can I, as a 54-year-old, 55-year-old woman, look at a 19-year-old who spent 4 years of her life in that mess and come at her with, oh, you need to be held fully accountable for what you're doing? Is she really? I have a 22 and a 20 and a 30-year-old.
Mm.
It's just after the last couple of years, I started looking at my 30-year-old like a grown woman because she
Mm.
started finally approaching the world and processing the world, her existence from a space of experience, right? She's had some learned experience, so she operates within that context. I cannot expect my 20-year-old to make the same decisions that my 30-year-old make. Because the night,
Absolutely not.
she's
Absolutely. Because at 20, that's when you are just beginning that spiritual journey.
right.
So for people to write off these young people because legally they're of a
They're
certain
of
age.
age. They're
Yeah.
and that's what I always, if you come across anything that I'm in or any comments I make, I a lot of times I'll say he got some barely legal young people,
Mhm.
some barely legal
Mhm.
young adults, barely legal, and he used his craft. The man is, most cult leaders are narcissists, first of all.
Yes.
It's all about them, and he's right when he said that's his world and that's what you're coming to, and you're going to exist in his world. And you know they've been love bombed, they've been
Yes.
paid attention to, and he's pocking all the secret super sauce that they've ever looked for. He's buttered them up. So when they get over there, then the reality pops up, and then before you know it, You got a group of people who are already there, so he's using all kind of techniques on them. He's using groupthink, right? You get pressure from the
Oh
group.
yes. Oh
You get
yes.
pressure from the group to
And
fall in
if
line.
you remember, he used to say, I don't think he says it anymore on camera, but he used to say to the members, one mind, and they were supposed to respond oneself.
Okay, and that's another technique. It's
Yep.
called he uses groupthink.
It's like
He
the,
uses thought
the churches
stopping.
do it.
He
Mhm.
he uses thought stopping, right?
Mhm.
So say a conversation is happening, or whatever, and then maybe a glimpse of who they really are. It'll bubble up, and then he'll stop them from saying what they really about to say. He'll stop them, and then he'll give them a few words, and that will lead them onto what he wants them to say.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. And he'll tell them, he'll say to them,
right,
hive mind. Good. I like that. He says to them, you don't need to think. That's what I'm here for.
right,
I think for you.
right, right.
But they have, it's little by little, little things at a time. It's
Right.
not all at once.
It's the repetitiveness of the
Yes.
one mind oneself. So now he doesn't have to say one mind oneself because that little core, that little group that he has now, he doesn't even have to say it anymore. They just
No.
automatically do it. So
Yep.
he uses that. They're in a state of, excuse me, cooking dinner. They are in a state of cognitive dissonance, which is they now see things as what is right is now wrong, and what is
Mhm.
wrong is now right. And
Mhm.
so internally, like they their true selves, it's still there. So they have to fight. They fight off what they intuitively know to push that down. So he'll say something to them, and they will know that's not right. But then,
Yep.
it's like a 2 or 3 seconds of like, oh, no, 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 that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. But actually, it's not right. What he tells me is what's right. And so you're constantly battling yourself. And then he does another thing. Like, remember, if any of you all ever saw the video, I think Zoka had lost a baby some short time after that. She had lost a baby. And they were on Vigo. And he said to Zoka, they were talking about her chart or something, and he said to Zoka, "Oh, no, 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 you can never be by yourself. You think too much. Somebody has to be around
Yeah.
you all the
I
time." You
remember
remember him
that.
saying that? Right.
Yes.
So what he does, I think all co-livers do this. You can never be alone, so that's why there's always somebody around you, right? You, and he gets mad. He will kick people out if they try to have alone time by themselves. And remember, Velvet said, I had to go to the bathroom to be by myself and think. That was the only place they could go where they could be by themselves. Because
Or in
if you,
isolation, isolation when he was putting them in the closet or in the yard, he made he made the idea of being alone a punishment. So they were afraid to be alone and to think for themselves.
right, right. And what that also does is it's kind of like you always have a minder, right? In
Hmm.
case you start having this conversation with somebody about your own independent thoughts, then that person will look back at you like, I know you
Yep.
just didn't say that. You know that's wrong. So you
Yep.
need to stop thinking like that. And then you have people like Aya, who then will go and tell what you said when you've had that independent moment to yourself or you spoke that out loud. So it's all those little things. It's the sleep deprivation. It's the
And yep.
food deprivation. It's
Hmm.
the the controlling of
Hours and hours of regurgitated information.
information. Right. It's
Yep.
it's that. And then the classic move that all cult leaders do. They all end up with the women. All of them end up with
Yes.
the women. Even if you
Yes.
come there with a partner. And David Koresh did that. He was impregnating all the women. They came there with husbands, but he said, that's no longer biblical according to my teachings. So separate the men from the women, right? Keith Raniere did the same thing. A man came there with his daughters. He impregnated two of the
Exactly.
daughters.
Exactly. And I tell people about even though we're referring to cults, we have to look at this inward within our own communities, our own
Right,
families. You
right,
you know what I mean? Because these people, Nature Boy came from a family. He came from a regular, situation the way we did.
right.
But see, narcissists find ways to to develop a following, to make people worship them,
Well,
and
they are very charismatic.
very
They- They're
charismatic
very charismatic. They're very charming,
on the
sociable.
surface. Absolutely.
Well, it's all things that they have to use to make themselves comfortable in situations because the
Absolutely.
essence of a cult leader is they have fragile egos and they really know they ain't shit.
Well, okay, Kitty. I have two. I want to make read two comments, and we
Hmm.
can definitely delve into those. One comment is by Come As You Are. She said the Puerto Rican government is involved and is doing an investigation. I
Yeah,
do know that to be true. I just want to point out every country they've been to, every state that, like, or territory like Hawaii, does an investigation. The issue is, before they can even get for it to evolve into anything else, he runs.
I don't think
He
he has a
runs, and
passport, so he
he
can't
don't have
go
the
anywhere.
passport now.
Mm-mm.
Exactly, he doesn't have the passport now. But if he gets off that island, then he's out of their jurisdiction. There's nothing really they can do. And
Mm,
that's what a lot of us who actually care about this, who actually want to see this end,
right,
that's what we fear, is that
right,
he'll run again. And once they're gone, you know people don't understand that local governments don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. and
right.
so and so if he leaves, that'll just be another, thank you, that's not out of our hands.
Well,
um
I hope
Another
that.
comment I do want to talk to you about, Three Kids, is this one right here by Kitty K Lovely. You see that?
Mhm.
Uh, can we talk about how people constantly put Velvet against Malia? They share the same trauma and they both
Right,
deserve our support.
right. They do. And see, that's one of the things that perhaps plays in the minds of those that are still there, and even with Malia, is that they hear all the negative things that are said about them, and that's one of the things that they tell families that have family members coming back from cults, or if you're trying to have them come get away from the cult, is that you can't be disparaging of these people. You cannot be talking bad about them. You, you're trying to give them a reason to come home. And the reason to come home is that there won't be all this judgment. If we keep them with the eyes looking at them as victims, then as victims, how can we say those things about them?
Hmm.
Because they are it they feel they once they come to the place where they realize what they've done and what's happened to them, it's going to be a lot of self-blaming, right? They're going to start blaming themselves, and then you got to keep putting their own eyes back on. No, you were a victim. This happened to you,
Hmm.
and then teach them the tools to deal with that, because it's going to be a lifetime of dealing with that, and then
I
trying
think
to
the
go on and live
issue
a life.
I think the issue is that the dynamics of this cult are so, that they are in a so what they do is what he does is, what a lot of cults do is they turn the victims against each other, or they'll be
Hmm.
responsible for um harming another member. And
Hmm.
so the reason why you see the young girls go or the members ex-members going against each other is because that's how the dynamics were in the cult
In the
itself.
group. Right, in the
Yes.
group. Right.
And so, and then because this is on display,
Mhm.
we respond, the viewer responds, um, based on what is presented to us. Like I can tell you right now, still have an issue with Velvet, based on what I've seen, based on some of the things she's said. But I also have to remember that she is a victim as well, um, and also understand that people who victimize can be victims,
Mhm.
and victims can victimize others.
And that's what they're doing. They're victimizing each other.
Yes,
They're
yes,
victimizing each other. Right. And again, when you victimize each other, you take the focus. Who's the original victimizer?
exactly.
Right. So that's what I have to. Those are my two biggest things. Is that there needs to be a lot more awareness of how cults work. Um,
Mhm.
what would make what would make somebody become a cult leader, and what kind of people become cult members. And if we
Mhm.
can get that, and then be able to identify the things in a cult, it's all about control. And there's this model called the BITE model, the BITE model by I mean, not Dr. Stephen Hassan. He was a Mooney for a long time. He's a former cult member.
You said he
And
was in the cult move.
Mooney, he was a Mooney,
Oh, Mooney. Okay.
Moonie, this Hawaiian guy, I think. Anyway, but he was Jesus, he was God too. Of course they all are.
Right.
But
They all
but
are. They're all
right.
gods and messiahs.
They're God's and Messiah. So he found his way out of it, and his story is very interesting. But so he has this model to where it's all about control, right? That's all a cult is all about control. So I'm trying to get to him, trying to find him.
I
Um,
can pull it up for you. Give me 1 second. You said the
I
bite
got
model by Mooney, right?
the bite model. I was just looking at it the other day.
And so what people oh, is this it? Mm,
Mm,
let's
but so,
see.
so basically, okay, it's about mind control, right? So you replace
Oh,
somebody's
I
true
see.
identity, their authentic self, and you wipe all that out, and then you put in a new system, and you take away somebody's ability to critically think, to analyze for
Right.
themselves, um, and you displace all that, and you give them a new set of principles and things to live
Right.
upon, which
Right.
evolves around um, uh, one person basically. I'm trying to find
And they
this
don't
picture.
understand. They don't understand that what's happening. They just think that they're, following these teachings that are going to help them. Is this it right here?
Yeah,
The Moon
it
Cult,
should. Yeah,
1976.
yeah. If you scroll down, there might be like these four blocks of blue that tells you all about the bite model.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it. The one I looked at the other day. Uh,
Uh,
yeah, it's about control, and so they control the behavior, information, your thoughts, and your emotions, right? And they do
mm,
that through any number of ways. Your behavior tell you what you can do. He gives you a whole new name. You wipe out somebody's identity by taking away the name the parents gave them at birth, right? Wipe
yes.
out their name.
That's, that's the first thing they do, and that's why I don't believe Nature Boy, Eligio. I don't believe that he created this himself. A lot of cult leaders look to their peers, if
Mm-hmm.
you will, um, to perfect what they're doing, um, to get a sense or idea to build,
Mhm.
because that's exactly what he did. He 1 minute, he changes their names. In the beginning, he was allowing them to choose their own names, but it had to be a different name from their biological name. Then
Mhm.
he was the one who got to choose their name.
Mhm.
Then you had a moment where he was making them brand themselves.
Mhm. You know, he dictates who they'll be with, who they'll live with,
Right.
who
Yeah,
they sleep
control
in the
who they'll be
room
with
with,
how long.
control their
Absolutely.
clothes, their hairstyles, their
Absolutely.
diet, their sleep, their money. He makes them dependent upon him, right?
And so, I want people to understand these are not just narcissists create cults, some of them. But narcissists live in our everyday life. So if
Mhm.
you experience these things,
Right.
it might the man that you're dating might be like, oh, I don't think you look good in that outfit. You should take that off. You look too sexy in that. Or if he says, I know your parents call you this, but I like this name for you.
I
If
there
you
was
come
there was even one person who said a cult doesn't necessarily consist of many people. It could just
right,
be you and another person, and
that's
you're in a
right.
cult. You're in a cult. He controls the
That's right.
information.
If
Like
that
they'll
person
say.
is manipulating you
Mhm.
into committing acts is mostly sexual acts that you're not comfortable with,
Mhm.
um, you wanna look at those things. And the reason I bring this up is because, like I was telling my viewers earlier in the program, I wrote a book, 15
Mhm.
Steps to Find Love: A Woman's Journey, to teach you how
Mhm.
to love yourself. Because if you cannot love yourself, you will end up like these young women and these young men in
Mhm.
carbonation, having
Mhm.
somebody to give you all these promises and then take advantage of you physically, mentally, emotionally, um, tell you who to be with, how to be with them, um, just control every aspect of your life financially.
Mhm.
And once you give somebody those powers, you're lost. It's it. That's it. And it's going to be a hard road getting out.
Mhm. Like information control, right?
Yep.
Like Velvet said,
Information control.
they don't even read books.
Okay.
They have no books.
That was scary. It was when Nature Boy was on live with uh the girl Candy, the woman Candy,
Mhm.
and Malia,
Mhm.
Tanisha, when they were on live, and was it no, it was it no, it wasn't them. It was when Jaguar Wright came on, and
Mhm.
they were asking like, did you ever read that or something? And
Mhm.
Nature Boy lying, saying he did, and Malia is on the camera like, oh no, I never heard of that, because they're not allowed to learn anything other than what Eligio teaches.
Right. Because he can't control the context in which they're thinking
And
about what they're learning.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. And
Right.
something might contradict what he tells them.
Which might cause an independent thought.
Oh yes,
Right.
yes, yes, yes.
Like he encourages spying. Right. He
Mhm.
gotta have a spy. You always gotta have somebody to monitor you. Um, and then the big thing is the confession, the confessional. He'll put you on the spot and make you
Yep,
tell the whole world about those things you only want to share with your best friend if you decide to tell them.
yep,
Right.
yep.
Um.
Somebody said, I really wish Velvet would apologize to Malia, but I don't think she has matured enough to do that. No, no, that's not going to happen. Velvet's
No.
father is a part of the Free Masonic Brotherhood. He is high up in the police department in New Orleans. Velvet has groomed that she most definitely is under the Eastern Star. He said, I don't know anything about um that. I hear about it, but I'm not familiar with the Freemasonic Brotherhood. I heard about it,
Well,
but
my only hope is that we're at this point is to continue to put out, you know, information that people can go educate themselves and to learn more about what's going on, so that when you watch this, you'll see it from a lens of being informed, and you can better understand like what's happening, you know, and
mhm,
then emotionally you won't get so caught up in it, because
mhm,
um, it's quite easy to do, and that's what I had to do. I was like, this is driving me crazy. So let me go see what I can find and see what's going on.
yep,
And I am glad you say that at this point, because I started kind of fell into this carbonation hole about 2 or 3 years ago. And at first everybody was saying this is fake and
right,
this is not real. And I was like
right.
yelling on every panel that I could get onto in everybody chat. So it's like, no, this is real. This is real life. These are kids' lives who are being messed up, and you
And you
know,
can tell it's real by the amount of um, toxic, negative, dark energy surrounded by what is happening.
yeah.
You can feel it. It I can't even describe how I know, but I feel it. I have to, kind of reprogram, deprogram myself regularly
Man.
because there's so much demonic energy within it, and that can't be scripted.
No, no. There are times, and I mean, I don't even like to watch, look at Eliseo on the playback, on somebody's playback,
Right.
because I mean, maybe 4 times I've seen, like, looked at his image, looked at his eyes, and they're completely black.
Mm,
And then there are times when it's like his eyes will like shimmer or do something, and it's like he's turned into somebody else. That's not the person who was talking to me before. And I said, oh no,
a lot of demonic energy is
oh no.
a lot, and that's why people who follow him too close, who participate in this too much, that's
Right.
why they become so aggressive and territorial with the content
Hmm.
because they're falling into that dark demonic manipulation that they don't even realize is happening. And so before I got into all of this, I was before I got pregnant and
Hmm.
hanging out at home. I was a teacher,
Hmm.
and so I like to give kind of like mixed education with information, and so I have 24 people in the room. I have one guest on the panel with me. Um, if you can put it in the chat, for those who are commenting, can you please tell me one thing you like to do to detox yourself
Hmm.
from uh, the drama of carbonation and the dark energy, within it. Um, and for three kids and me, what are some of the things that you do to kind of cleanse yourself?
I have to step away, you know, um, because it is disheartening when I hear all the bickering going on. So I have to like take a break from all the channels and all that stuff, and just go on to something else. And then one thing I did this week was I went and looked back. I looked up all that information to remind me again of what I was looking at.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I went back and looked over all the information about cults and how this happens and how it affects people and their families. And I was like, okay, I'm good again. Now I can go back and look at it and try to um try to continue to send positive vibes that those people get out of there. Number one, and number two, that nobody else goes there. Nobody else goes there.
Mhm.
That's what I
Okay.
try to do.
Thank you.
And my
Anybody
my
else? Just put it in the chat. Please tell me, what do you do to cleanse your spirit? I, mm, I got 24 people. Come on. 24 people. I don't even know how many people are liking the video. Please like the video. If you are enjoying this conversation, um, if you want to be a part of this conversation, you always welcome to come into the chat. Oh, are you okay, three kids? I hope you're all right.
Oh,
I
no,
just
no.
wanted.
I'm no, no, no. I'm good. I had to turn off my mic so that I could
Okay, okay.
put some stuff in the microwave.
CJ said you have to pray. You have to ask the Most High God to cover you and your family, all of your devices. Those demonic spirits can travel. If you are not covered, you will be next. Wow,
I
wow,
remember one night
wow.
I had a dream. I was like drifting off to sleep, and I don't go to sleep listening to that stuff. But this night I started falling asleep with something in my with it in my ear, and I tell you what, it's like I felt this presence come over me, and I woke straight up and turned my phone off, turned everything off, put it in the other room, because I was like, oh no, 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 you're not
Hmm.
allowed to come here.
It's so true. Lila said, I don't even let it get absorbed into my aura or energy. I burn sage if I feel Nature Boy's chaotic energy is coming through the laptop. I turn off the volume. Who said that? You said that, right? Three kids and me. I turn off
Yeah,
the
I
volume.
turned it off. Yeah,
Sometimes I can't hear. I don't want to hear it. Sometimes I don't. I can't look at the face. I had to go to commentators to hear what they had to say, so that I don't hear
right,
his voice.
right. No, I don't want to hear his voice. And because we'll take Candy for example. He did his magic to that girl. With the music and him looking at her, and he mesmerized her, and he drew her in over that phone through that
I'm gonna
camera.
tell you the one thing
And
about
I'm
Candy. She already knew him. Before when I like to, part of my little research that I do for my videos is
uh-huh.
I go to other channel holders, regardless of how I feel about them. I go to other
Right.
channel holders and I listen to what they're talking about. And there were several panels. I remember the first panel she, went on,
Hmm.
and she was telling the story about how she already knew him. She was already in communication with Candy was already in communication with Eligio. They were kind of friends, kind of not. He was being flirtatious. Mind you, this woman has a man, but
Right.
you know, being flirtatious, and because you grew up together
Right.
somewhat, and I think her goal in the beginning was to truly just expose him,
Right.
expose who he truly is.
Right.
But see, people when people start, where they get sucked in
Hmm.
is, you know, he started bribing her with money, and money we all know is, the devil's
Right.
currency.
Right.
Money, greed, power, all of that. And so he started luring her in, and so
Right.
there was already that on the table. So when her and a channel holder got into whatever they got into,
Right.
she took him up on his offer.
Right.
But people had to remember, if that offer wasn't made in the beginning, you
Hmm.
know, sh- it's almost like he was, playing chess, playing some kind of, game where I'm gonna
Right.
make this available just in case.
Right.
And so
Well.
he lured her, like you said, he allowed her on his panels just to
Hmm.
sit, talk, and put her guard down.
Hmm.
And that's what they do.
Right. Right. And all it took was that little rift between her and the other channel holder for him to say, "Oh, okay, remember, remember."
Yep.
Her ear was already tickled, And that's
Yes,
when you don't play with the devil. You don't play
that's
with that.
right.
You don't entertain that, you know?
That's
Because
right.
you just don't take a chance like that working with a force and seeing the product of what he does. You see it all over the internet, but you just don't play with that.
Let's see. Where did it go? Somebody said it's just gross looking at him. Okay, here we go. I think this is it.
Stop it, Zuki. Stop, Zuko.
Sometimes just looking at him is gross. I can literally see a reptile when I look at him.
Right.
When, ugh.
His eyes, his it's like his irises just shift. His pupils, yeah, his irises, they just shift. They start going back and forth.
Yeah, yeah. Come as you are is coming up, you guys. Oh, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Come as you are. God bless you.
Hello, how are you? I'm going to be really quick because I'm at work and it's loud in here.
Okay,
Um, but I wanted to share something with you all because of mom and the three kids, something she said and something you said as well. With what do you do with your free time to get away from listening to Nature Boy and the dark energy and how he memorized candy? I'm going to tell you all something. That is so true.
Mhm.
One day I was in my house and I was listening to a content creator's channel, and this content creator does not do commentary to explain things. And I
Mhm.
had it on my Bluetooth speaker in the bathroom. And after this, I never, ever, ever listened to that person's channel ever again. But Nature Boy was teaching something, and my son came out the room. My son is light skinned with hazel brown eyes, okay? All of a sudden, my son looked at me. His chin was tucked down, and his
Mm.
eyes went marble black,
Yeah.
and chaos went crazy in my home.
Mhm.
When I tell you it was something I've never experienced anything like that. We have to be so careful even talking about this person because
Mhm.
he's just not a demonic entity. He is a
Mm-mm.
legion.
that's
Many.
right.
He carries
Mhm.
many,
Mhm.
many demonic entities with
Mhm.
him. I had to get my son prayed on. I had to get my whole house blessed. My
Mhm.
son even went as far as wanting to commit suicide. This is a child who does not think like that. He's 17
Mm.
years old,
Mm. Mm.
outgoing, charismatic, funny. I
Mhm.
mean, his eyes were marble black.
Mhm.
And it's a real
I
thing.
will
See,
never ever
people think
listen
this
to
is a
the.
show. This is not a
Yes,
show. That spirit is, that
it's
dark
not.
energy is real.
It's real.
Yes,
And it's unfortunate
yes,
Come as you
it's unfortunate what happened to Candy. But the good thing about it is that
yes.
you can sit and you can look at it and you will see exactly how it works. And people can't
Hmm.
deny that that
Hmm.
didn't happen because it did because we saw it.
Hmm. And it was like an example because she was sitting in front of him on
Mhm.
that phone and he
Mhm.
began playing that music. And
Music.
as she was trying to overtalk him,
He
his
just. Mhm.
head was swaying side to
And with.
side like a
Mhm.
snake.
And next thing, what was she doing?
Yes.
She was swaying with it.
She started swaying. She was swaying and she went outside away from her family. He hypnotized her.
Mhm. Yep.
Mm.
Sure did.
Well, that's all I wanted to share with you all. I gotta finish this work, you all. But thank you so much for inviting me on your panel.
come as you are. We are thankful for you sharing that experience because again, we have to put this in real context. This is not a show, and I am so grateful for you to come up here and share that with us.
Yes,
Nobody
ma'am.
does.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you
That's
Um,
so,
okay.
so much.
no problem. You can still listen in if you choose to. If
Okay.
not, there'll be more lives, there'll be more videos. So, um,
And that's
you
that's
know,
another thing too.
Yes, I'm listening to you on my Bluetooth.
Oh, go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Eligio is not a succubus. He's an incubus. Incubus is incubus is a male demon that comes to visit when they're sleeping. But he's an incubus.
mm, mm.
And so a succubus is the female version. So
Okay, I didn't know the difference between the two. I thought that incubus and the incubus and the succubus were the same actually. Um,
now,
it's just is different genders.
hmm
Okay,
call him what he is. Call
that's
him,
right.
call him, call him what he is. Um, under the thought control, right? It's only black or white. You know,
Yep.
it's either his way or no way, right? Um, people oftentimes talk about, Belle's here, but she's still talking that elite talk.
Mhm.
I'm like, but of course she is, right? Because she's well indoctrinated with his language, right? So they have to. It's a matter of time. They begin to shed all that. Hear everyday common language. Then they'll begin to speak less like him.
Mm.
They,
I hope so. And honestly, I know people who have left years ago and still,
mhm,
and still admit that they watch, still admit that they listen to the music, still admit that they believe in the teaching.
mhm.
So, for the 18 people left in the room, please find another hobby, another channel that is, full of light and a different energy when you are not watching this so that you can free your mind into something else. um because it is like right now I'm about to end my live because for me this is a little
It's
it's
enough.
starting to
It's
get a little
enough.
right.
Right.
Right. But I'm grateful for everybody in the chat room. I always enjoy hearing your perspective, Three Kids and me.
Yeah.
This is the second time you come up and you've done nothing but share so much wisdom, um, and knowledge, and so I'm thankful for that. I hope everybody who stayed in here was able to take something from it, um, and we can continue to build on other topics as well. I want to do a video or live about self healing, about how we can heal
Mhm.
through these traumas. So
Mhm.
I hope we get some people for that live as well. Um, no problem, Layla. Yeah. Do you
All
want to say
right.
anything, Three Kids? You want to say
Uh,
anything before we go?
um. Yeah. Just we have to cleanse our minds, our spirits of this stuff that's going on. Do that in a healthy way, and then when you decide to get back to it, continue to try to look at these young folks or these people as victims of Eligio, and
Hmm.
hopefully they will make it out from under this mess. Let's
Okay.
just hope we can stop somebody else from going over there.
That's right. That's right. All right, everyone. Please don't forget to like this video, like this live, share it if you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Um, Three Kids, are you a channel holder at all?
Nope, I
Oh,
just go from channel to channel.
okay.
No,
Nope, no
not at
problem.
all.
No problem. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night.
You too.
Spend as
Y'all
much
have a good
time with
night.
your family and your kids as you possibly can. And simply say, I rebuke this man. Oh yes, I'm gonna put that up before I go off, you guys. As y'all start to go away, I rebuke this man and this mentality. Yes, Kitty, thank you, thank you. I needed that. We needed that. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Yes. I'm not a praying person. I don't know. I'm not. I just never got into it. But anyone, if you want to pray on this live, if you want to put something in the chat real quick, you can do so. Have a wonderful night. If I'll give you about a few seconds for somebody who wants to, come up real quick and do a quick prayer or some form of a chant. If not, just put something quickly in the chat, and then I'll end it now. Um, I'll give you a few seconds. Okay. I'm not just believe. Just believe. That's all he answered. Okay. And I think I don't even know how to pronounce that. Ephesians 6:12. If anybody has a Bible, please look. I guess that's a Bible. I don't know, Old Testament, New Testament. Please look that up. We need some positive spirits in this room. We need some positive spirits in these lives. When we go live and we talk about carbonation, we definitely need it. Anything else? This is a great way to end this live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come as you are. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Layla, Kitty. Who else? Um, uh-oh. More beer for me. Thank you for joining us, and everyone else who was in the live today. I thank you so much. I want you all to have a wonderful night. Please, 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 please do not allow this individual, and individuals like him, to control your mind, to manipulate your mind, to overpower your thoughts and your energy. Preserve that. Preserve it for the people who love you and the people you love. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Peace.